Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Mary Elizabeth Winston's big Star Wars future just got teased in the end of the Ahsoka show. For what we have the potential to see going forward with the character of Hera Syndulla within the Mandoverse, both within and outside of the Ahsoka series, we're gonna go ahead and hop right on into it. Mary Elizabeth Winston is expected to have a bright future ahead of her as Hera Syndulla, and the Ahsoka Disney Plus show may have just set that up in a big way. Star Wars has now officially brought all of the Star Wars Rebels crew, at least the ones that are still alive, into live action in the Mandoverse timeline, after the events of the original trilogy leading up to the events of the sequel trilogy, with The Force Awakens, with that 30-year gap. One of those major players, Ghost pilot Hera Syndulla, who was brought to life for the first time in the Ahsoka series, where she has been played by Scott Pilgrim and Birds of Prey actress Mary Elizabeth Winston. Winston, who is also married to Obi-Wan Kenobi actor Ewan McGregor in real life, has been open about the challenges of bringing Hera to life, along with her excitement at the introduction of her on-screen son, Jacen Syndulla, as well. For his overall character, and going forward, I think is a whole nother story and a whole nother thing. Because quite clearly, and honestly, there seems to be a lot more going on with Hera herself, and then also with her son Jacen going forward. Mary Elizabeth Winston's Hera Syndulla certainly took on a smaller role in Ahsoka's latter episodes than she did in the earlier episodes, as the New Republic general became one of the few leads not to go to the planet of Peridia in this other galaxy in search of Ezra and Thrawn, but they think they still tied her in quite neatly and still gave her a role that, well, made sense actually. During the events of Episode 7, titled Dreams and Madness, Hera went before a New Republic hearing to convince a group of senators of the threat behind Thrawn and the Imperial remnants, along with justifying her mission against Morgan Elsbeth and the Eye of Sion, as she was rescued by C-3PO, who arrived to confirm Senator Leia Organa sanctioned the mission. It appears Hera has been working with the original trilogy lead, and the pair have had some level of closeness. This relationship and even bond between these two characters of Leia Skywalker, Organa, or Solo, whatever last name you may want to give her, and Hera Syndulla that we see kind of playing out here in the Ahsoka series isn't something that's spontaneous or even new at that. They actually meet a couple of times during the events of the Star Wars Rebels animated show. So it gives plenty of reason to add on to that relationship between these two characters, and it keeps my fingers crossed that eventually, hopefully, we will see the return of Princess Leia on screen in the Mandoverse, but that's something to discuss in an entirely separate video here on the channel. Additionally, in the season finale, Hera has been reunited with Ezra Bridger, fresh off of his escape from Peridia, this other galaxy, of where Ahsoka and Sabine were left stranded, unfortunately. But it seems that the mission's clear, and that Ezra Bridger at least has an idea of how to get back there and to rescue them. Moving forward, though, Hera will likely be working closely with Ezra to rescue their stranded threats, while also preparing the New Republic to oppose Thrawn now that he has returned to the main Star Wars galaxy to unite all of the Imperial remnants, posing a war upon the galaxy for power. And so, this year all being said, where will Mary Elizabeth Winston's Hera Syndulla appear next, going forward? There's a couple of areas that they have the opportunity to bring the character back. Let's discuss a couple of those. Due to the nature of Ahsoka and how Hera was one of the few characters to stick around in the original galaxy, Mary Elizabeth Winston didn't get as much screen time in her Star Wars debut in live action as many would have maybe hoped for. However, the Ahsoka finale made it clear that she has a future, and Hera will likely have an important role to play in preparing the New Republic to take on Thrawn. Perhaps she will have even be one of the ones to unite the Mandoverse's heroes against him, so all of the other shows as well, like Mando, like from Mandalorian, Boba Fett, with all the many different characters from that show actually as well, thinking about it, and all the different characters and people that we have from the Mandalorian as well, and then also not to mention that like Luke Skywalker and everybody else is kind of floating around the galaxy during this time period. I mean, it really brings on quite an ensemble, which does bring me to my first one that we have the potential to see the return of Hera Syndulla would have to be in Dave Filoni's big Star Wars Mandoverse Mandoverse Cultimation movie that was announced at the beginning of this year at Star Wars Celebration. Now, we'll get to it in just a moment, but from my understanding, from what I'm hearing from the many different rumors and reports, is that it sounds that if and when an Ahsoka Season 2 does happen, because it seems very prominent on the idea that this will actually happen and go forward, as there has been potentially actually early development already over at Lucasfilm for an Ahsoka Season 2, is that Ahsoka Season 2 would come out before Dave Filoni's Mandoverse movie. So Dave Filoni's big Mandoverse Cultimation movie, or the Thrawn movie as it's also kind of referred to, it would be the #1 first spot that we would see the return of Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Hera Syndulla. And as I had kind of touched on and mentioned there, the second one would have to be in an Ahsoka Season 2. Whenever Hera does appear next, though, she ought to be staying close with Ezra Bridger now that the two have reconnected, and she may even pull into the services of Zeb, who has also been working with the New Republic in the Starfighter Corps, as he was introduced into live action in The Mandalorian Season 3. If and when Ahsoka does get renewed for a Season 2, because fingers crossed on that, as it may have actually even been accidentally revealed, Winston ought to continue playing an important role even in that, hopefully with more screen time than she was treated to in the freshman season, the first season here. Turning attention to other projects though, aside from Dave Filoni's big Cultimation movie, or from an Ahsoka Season 2, Hera some way, somehow, could work her way into The Mandalorian Season 4 to recruit Din Djarin and Grogu into the Thrawn conflict, or maybe for some side mission or whatever the case may be. The Star Wars series has already involved the New Republic plenty of times, as well as Captain Carson Teva in major ways, so it wouldn't be a stretch for Hera to appear some point and sometime in The Mandalorian Season 4. Beyond that, Winstead will certainly appear in Dave Filoni's upcoming Mandoverse crossover movie, as I had mentioned, that is expected to culminate the fight against Thrawn, a puzzle in which Hera has become an important piece in following Ahsoka and Rebels. And so, the final area, or, potential future project that we could see the return of Hera Syndulla within live action with Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the Mandoverse, would be from the once rumors of that Hera was set to lead her own Disney Plus project and show, taking the reins of Rangers of the New Republic, following the firing of Cara Dune's Gina Carano, as it was originally announced that Rangers of the New Republic would be centered around Cara Dune's character. Now, Rangers of the New Republic was actually announced nearly 3 years ago, alongside with the Ahsoka show. It's one of those projects and shows that they've kind of shown like they could work with it, and that it could have, still a story and a potential with the character of Hera Syndulla. I think it's something that a lot of Star Wars fans would love to see. Although, while that show appears to be scrapped, maybe another New Republic project could take its place, so maybe not necessarily Rangers of the New Republic, or maybe much rather something that would titled different, opening the doors for Winston to take a leading role in her own show. This here all being said, guys, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. What do you want to see with the future of Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Hera Syndulla? I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.